Greetings. It's Monday, February the 2nd in the year 2026. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is the Monday Morning Report. My apologies for being away for a couple of weeks. It was a combination of health. That flu that's been going around hit me harder than most people, apparently. And, of course, we had a real nasty snowstorm while traveling, and it's very hard to set up audio equipment and catch up on the news when you're trying to stay warm and try to stay mobile. Anyways, here we are, and a lot's been going on. But then again, it's more or less what's been going on for a long time. The United States is, under Donald Trump, is apparently ready to attack Iran. Not much of a sneak attack this time, though, and plenty of warning for the Russians and the Chinese to fly in their latest weapons to see how they do against Americans and their equipment in real-life situations doesn't bode well. Upwards of 100,000 Iranians apparently have been killed by their own government that is spreading the love of their particular version of the Abrahamic God. Things haven't changed much since the Middle Ages, have they? And, of course, the big news, which is not really news, is the Epstein files. All sorts of filth and all sorts of garbage that people can now immerse themselves in. Well, that's actually the real story. It's just underlining something that a lot of us have figured out, and most of us are going to have to do something about, or else we're going to continue to endure this dive into the abyss, not just in the United States, but elsewhere. Welcome to the governmental system of pathocracy. Yes, pathocracy. That's when pathological people, especially psychopaths, are in charge, running things, and trying to teach the rest of us about morality or health, if you take into account Mr. Bill Gates, but I'll let you look into that for yourself. No, things are not going to get better unless change occurs. And I'm not talking about waking people up. I'm talking about people that are already woken up, are going to get out of bed, put on their clothes, their boots, and head out the door and kick some tail. We aren't voting ourselves out of this one, folks. The people at the head of our affairs, whether you consider yourselves conservative or liberal, right or left, so many of them are rotten that it really does not matter at this point what sides you take. All we are going to have to deal with is sanity versus insanity. For some reason, a significant portion of people in the United States have been brainwashed into believing that it's okay to come into the United States illegally, commit horrible crimes, and if somebody wants to arrest you and deport you, they're somehow violating your human rights. You can't argue with insanity like that. The only way we're going to get out of this is if people have what we would call a change of consciousness. Very often I meet people that say they want to see change, and I said, well, what about change in yourself? And so I like the way I think right now. And I said, well, maybe you won't be the same person you are in a couple of years, and that's usually the case with most of us. We're going to have to do two things. One, look at ourselves and look at this mess that we've gotten ourselves into over the last 50, 60, 70, 80 years, depending on how you measure it. And in order to get out of this, we're going to have to take a strong, hard look at reality. There are male and female. Race is a real thing. Religion of the interpreted kind that we're seeing is causing more death and mayhem and chaos than just about anything else out there. People don't even understand how their system of government works. They don't understand their history, their culture. We're at a fork in the road. And when spring and summer roll along, it's going to be even more pronounced as to what's going to happen. We can either look to reality and march in that direction, or blindly follow the pathological madmen and women who are at the head of our affairs and basically lose everything. Try finding a home that's available to purchase these days. So many single-family homes have been purchased by investors, it's not even funny. AI is taking away so many jobs it isn't even open to debate anymore. Clearly, this is a time where people are being backed in a corner, and you know what? Throughout history of any species, whenever people are backed in the corner, they're going to have to jump at whoever is pushing them there, and they're going to have to fight. So I'm going to just follow things as much as I can, but there really isn't a lot to say because nobody is coming up with any solutions. And the only solution is to see to it that the people who head up the pathocracy that we are now being governed by are removed from power. That's the only solution. How that happens, well, we'll see. But it has to happen, or else there's not really much of a future left for all of us, for any of us, especially our children and generations yet unborn. We are at that point in history where action needs to be taken. Just go through some of the Epstein files to see the sort of filth that we have running things. But then again, most of us who've been following this for years already pretty much had that figured out. What fools these mortals be. So stop being fools, people. If there's a time in history people have to grow up in a hurry, it's now. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends and share with your enemies. And don't forget, they are enemies. I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. My handle there is MICCAMPEN, MICCAMPEN. I'm up on other social media platforms, Instagram, MeWe, and a few others, but not Facebook. This podcast originates at Substack. My handle there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant, and remember, Clown World, the Deep State, and all the pathological madmen and women who are at the head of our affairs must be destroyed. Good day.